This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Max and Mia podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matthew. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're really glad you're here.
So, quick heads up before we dive in. If you're a regular listener, you probably know that Matthew and I usually take over the show on Wednesdays. That's our little spot in the week.
That's right, but today's a bit different. This is a special episode, so you're stuck with us again.
Don't worry, Max and Mia will be back tomorrow, like always. But today, we've got something we really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so here's the thing. A few days ago, I came across this video online, and the guy in it was promising that you could learn English in just 30 days, like fluent in a month.
Wait, seriously? 30 days?
I know, right? I couldn't believe it. I thought, okay, this sounds too good to be true, but let's see what he's got.
And what happened?
Well, exactly what you'd expect. Once I actually watched it, it was pretty clear that promise just wasn't realistic. There's no magic trick that gets you fluent in a month.
Yeah, that's exactly why we wanted to make this episode. Because here's the truth. Learning a language takes time. There's just no way around it. But there are things you can do to speed up the process and get real results.
Exactly. So today we're going to walk you through 5 practical steps that'll help rewire your brain to start thinking in English. And trust me, that's when things really start to click.
Just 5 steps, but they're genuinely useful ones. And the last one, that might be the most important of all.
So before we get into it, we want to ask you guys something. Do you think it's actually possible to learn English in 30 days? Let us know what you think. We're curious to hear your take.
Oh, and before we jump in, we just wanted to say a huge thank you. The response to last Wednesday's episode was honestly amazing.
Seriously, thank you so much for all the support. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't listened to it yet, definitely check it out. It's all about 6 habits that can help you improve your mornings and your life.
We've pinned it in the first comment below this video, so it's easy to find. Be sure to give it a listen after you finish this episode.
All right, without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Okay, before we jump into the 5 steps, there's something really important we want to say first.
Yeah, some honest truths here, because we don't want you to get discouraged halfway through.
So, first things first, you're not going to learn English in 30 days, not in 2 months either, or even 3. That's just not how it works.
Right, and that's actually a good thing to know up front. You need a realistic goal, because if you convince yourself you'll be fluent in 30 days, you're probably going to feel super discouraged around day 25, when you realize that's just not happening.
But here's the good news. You're not as far away as you think. If you're already at an intermediate level, you could reach an advanced level in about 7 or 8 months.
With one big condition, though. You've got to be disciplined.
Exactly. And speaking of discipline, that's honestly the key to all of this.
Think about it this way. If you want to get in shape and have a strong body, you need discipline to actually go train, right? That's pretty obvious.
Well, it's the same with your brain. You've got to train it too. Think of it like a muscle.
And heads up, this won't be easy. Anything worth doing usually isn't. That's just how life works.
But hey, difficult doesn't mean boring. Trust us, this is going to be fun too.
True. And here's another gym comparison for you. When we start going to the gym, we don't show up on day 1 and train for 5 hours straight, lifting the heaviest weights we can find.
Yeah, that'd actually do more harm than good.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with English. If you start with a ton of motivation and tell yourself you're going to study 4 hours a day, chances are you'll burn out and quit within a week.
So before we get into the 5 steps, let's make one thing clear. Be honest with yourself and figure out how much you can realistically study each day without wearing yourself out, without getting bored.
For example, Matthew and I both study other languages too. I study French for about 50 minutes a day.
And I do about 40 minutes of Italian daily. That's it. Nothing crazy, but it's consistent.
And that consistency is what really makes the difference over time.
All right, now that we've got that covered, let's get into it. Here are the 5 steps.
Okay, step number 1. And this one's the foundation for everything else, so pay close attention.
The idea here is simple. You've got to fill your brain with English, like flood it.
Flood it. I like that. So basically, we're talking about listening to podcasts, but there's a specific way to do it that actually works.
Right. Here's a simple rule of thumb we like to use. Aim to understand around 70 to 80% of what you're hearing. And here's how it works. You listen to something, could be a podcast, could be a video, and you want to naturally understand about 70 to 80% of what's being said. No dictionary, no pausing every 2 seconds.
And if you find yourself stopping to look up more than 3 words per minute, that content's too hard for you right now. Just drop it and find something easier.
But it doesn't stop there. You also want to add what's called spaced re-exposure.
Ooh, sounds fancy. What does that actually mean?
It's not as complicated as it sounds. Basically, you listen to the same episode today, then you listen to that exact same episode again in 4 days, and one more time 8 days after that.
So you're repeating it, but spacing it out over time instead of just listening once and moving on.
Exactly. And there's real science behind why this works. It's based on something called the Comprehensible Input hypothesis, developed by a linguist named Stephen Krashen.
Basically, his idea is that we acquire language best when we're exposed to input that's just slightly above our current level, but we can still understand the general meaning.
And when you combine that with something called the forgetting curve from a guy named Ebbinghaus, that's where the magic happens.
Right. The forgetting curve basically shows how we lose information over time if we never review it. Like you learn something today, and if you don't come back to it, most of it just fades away within days.
So when you understand that general 70% of a podcast episode, your brain naturally starts filling in the gaps using context and figuring out that remaining 30% on its own.
It's like your brain does statistical detective work in the background without you even realizing it.
I love that. Statistical detective work. And then when you re-listen days later, you're reinforcing those new connections your brain just made. And every time you hear it again, those patterns become a little more familiar and a little easier to recognize.
So how do you actually add this into your daily routine?
Easy. Swap out some of your usual scrolling time, social media, the news, whatever, for one podcast episode instead.
And good news, we've got hundreds of episodes on our channel already, so there's plenty to choose from.
Yeah, just pick one that feels right for your level. And remember, if you're constantly lost, go easier. If it feels too simple, bump it up a bit.
It really is that simple. Just consistent exposure, spaced out the right way.
All right, that's step 1. Ready for step 2?
Okay, step 2, and honestly, this one's a game changer once you get it.
So this step is all about chunking. And here's the rule. You're not allowed to learn single words anymore.
Wait, what? No single words at all?
I know it sounds extreme, but hear me out. Instead of learning a word by itself, you learn it inside a full phrase, a chunk.
Can you give an example?
Sure, let's say you come across the word granted. If you just memorize that one word alone, it's kind of useless on its own, right? But if you learn the whole phrase, take it for granted, now you've got something you can actually use in real conversation.
Oh, like, I take my health for granted sometimes.
Exactly. Or another one, instead of just learning far, you'd learn the whole expression, as far as I know.
Right, like, as far as I know, the meeting's at 5.
Perfect example. See how that just flows naturally?
Yeah, it feels way more useful than just having a random word floating around with no context.
That's the whole point. And honestly, think about how we actually talk in real life. We don't build every sentence word by word in our heads. We pull out whole expressions we already know.
True, like when someone says, long story short, you don't stop and think about each word separately. It just comes out as one thing.
Exactly. That's a chunk right there. And here's the thing. When your brain stores a phrase like that as one single unit, it comes out so much faster in conversation.
Because you're not translating word by word anymore.
Right, you're not doing that mental math of, okay, subject, verb, object. You just say the whole thing automatically because you've heard it 100 times as one piece.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like how we don't think about how to walk, we just walk.
That's a great way to put it. Your brain's not overloaded trying to figure out each individual piece. It just fires off the whole thing at once.
So, how would someone actually start doing this?
Easy. Next time you're watching something or listening to a podcast and you hear a phrase you like, don't just write down one word from it. Write the whole expression.
And even better, write down the actual sentence you heard it in.
Exactly. Context is everything. If you save make up your mind, don't just write that alone. Write, come on, just make up your mind already, so you remember exactly how it's used.
I love that. And honestly, once you start collecting these chunks, you'll notice you sound so much more natural.
Way more natural and way faster, too. You stop sounding like you're translating in your head.
Which, let's be honest, is exactly what we're all trying to avoid.
100%. All right, that's step 2. Chunks over single words, always.
Ready for step 3?
All right, step 3, and this one's honestly one of our favorites.
Yeah, we've actually talked about shadowing before on the channel, but it's so important that it deserves its own spot here too.
So, what is shadowing exactly? Basically, you grab a real audio clip from a native speaker. Could be from a podcast, a YouTube video, an interview, doesn't matter.
And then you repeat it out loud right as you're hearing it, or maybe just a second behind.
Exactly. And here's the key part. You're not just repeating the words. You're copying the rhythm, the breathing, the intonation, everything. And you don't pause the audio at all.
So it's like becoming a shadow of the speaker, following right on their heels.
That's literally where the name comes from.
Now, why does this actually work so well? I mean, besides just sounding cool.
Well, speaking is actually a physical skill, not just a mental one. Think about it. Your tongue, your lips, your mouth in general, they've all been trained for years to move a certain way based on your native language.
Right. Like Spanish has its own set of sounds and mouth movements, and English has a completely different set.
Exactly. And there are sounds in English that just don't exist in Spanish at all. Certain vowel sounds, certain ways your mouth needs to move that your muscles have simply never practiced before.
So shadowing is basically training those muscles to do something new.
Precisely. It's like going to the gym, but for your mouth. You're rewiring that connection between what you hear and how your mouth physically responds without overthinking it.
That makes so much sense, actually. It's not about analyzing grammar rules in your head anymore. It's building that direct, automatic connection.
Exactly. You skip that whole slow, analytical process and go straight from hearing to speaking.
And here's something worth mentioning, too. A lot of people struggle with speaking simply because they don't have anyone to actually talk to in English on a regular basis.
That's such a good point. If you're not speaking with someone daily, your speaking skills can get left behind, even if your listening and reading are great.
Right. And shadowing is basically your solution for that. It gives you that speaking practice even when there's no one around to talk to.
It's like your own personal speaking partner, except it's a podcast episode instead of an actual person.
True enough. So how would someone actually start doing this?
Honestly, any episode from our channel works perfectly for shadowing. Just pick one, hit play, and start repeating along.
And here's a fun tip, too. You can actually choose which accent you want to practice with.
Oh, that's a great point. Maybe you love the British accent, or you're more drawn to American English, or even Australian.
Whatever accent appeals to you the most, that's the one you should shadow.
Yeah, and this is especially useful if you're planning on moving to a specific country someday, or you just genuinely love how a certain accent sounds.
Exactly. There's no wrong choice here. It's really just about what fits you and your goals.
So, pick your favorite accent, grab an episode, and start shadowing.
All right, that's step 3. Ready to move on to step 4?
Okay, step 4. And this one's all about training your speed.
Speed? What do you mean by that exactly?
So, a lot of people think practicing English means describing whatever's around them, like the table is red, the sky is blue, stuff like that.
Yeah, and honestly, that gets boring fast. Your brain just checks out.
Exactly. It's way too neutral. There's nothing there for your brain to actually hold on to. So instead, this step is about processing your real reactions in English, your frustrations, your excitement, your complaints, all of it.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you drop your coffee first thing in the morning. Instead of reacting in your native language, your immediate thought should be something like, "You've got to be kidding me."
Or if you get an annoying email from work, maybe something like, "Why is this happening today?"
Exactly. Or on the flip side, if you get good news, you just think, "This is awesome."
So basically, whatever emotion pops up, whether it's good or bad, you catch it in English instead of letting it happen in native language automatically?
That's it, exactly. And there's actually a really interesting reason why this works so well.
Let's hear it.
So there's a part of the brain called the amygdala, and it's basically your emotional center, and it acts kind of like a save button for your memory.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when you connect language to a real emotion, whatever you learn sticks so much better than if you're just reading some neutral text with zero feeling behind it.
That actually explains something. You know how everyone remembers curse words in other languages almost instantly?
Exactly, because those words carry emotional weight, so your brain locks them in right away, way faster than boring vocabulary lists.
That makes so much sense. So this step is basically using that same trick, but on purpose.
Precisely. You're hijacking your own emotional reactions and turning them into English practice.
So how would someone actually build this habit?
Honestly, it's easier than people think. Use those 5 minutes in the shower every morning, or whenever you're walking somewhere, like to work or school.
Oh, that's a great idea. Turn that time into your safe space.
Exactly. No filter, no judgment. Just complain about your day in English, get excited about your plans in English, whatever comes to mind.
It's kind of like giving yourself permission to just think out loud, but in English.
Exactly that. And the more you do it, the faster those reactions start coming naturally, without you even trying.
I love that. It's such a simple habit, but it makes a real difference.
For sure. All right, that's step 4, catching your real emotions in English.
Okay, now let's get into step 5, the one you said was the most important.
All right, step 5. And yeah, I really do think this is the most important one out of all 5.
Okay, so what exactly is circumlocution? That's a pretty fancy word to start with.
I know, ironic, right? Basically, it just means talking your way around a word. So here's the rule. If you're speaking and you suddenly forget a word in English, you're not allowed to give up, go silent, or just switch to your native language.
So no shortcuts.
Zero shortcuts. Instead, you force your brain to describe the concept using simpler words right there on the spot.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Let's say you forget the word for surgeon. Instead of freezing up, your brain should immediately fire off something like, the doctor who cuts people in a hospital to fix them.
Okay, that's not exactly elegant, but hey, it works.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. It doesn't need to sound pretty, it just needs to keep the conversation moving.
So why is this such a big deal? Like, why does it matter so much?
Well, think about what happens when you're searching for a word and you just can't find it. Your brain kind of panics a little, right?
Oh yeah, that awkward silence where you're just stuck?
Exactly. And in that moment, your brain releases stress, which actually blocks your access to memory even more. It's like a vicious cycle.
So the more you panic, the harder it gets to remember anything.
Precisely. But when you train yourself to describe things instead of freezing, you're basically teaching your brain that forgetting a word isn't some huge threat.
So it calms down that whole panic response.
Exactly. And that's when real fluency shows up, when you're not scared of messing up or blanking on a word.
Okay, I love this one. So, how do you actually practice this?
There's this fun little game you can play for just 3 minutes a day. You grab any random object at home, like, I don't know, a phone charger or a corkscrew,
A corkscrew. That's a good one, actually.
right? And then you set a timer for 30 seconds and describe it out loud in English without saying its name and without saying what it's used for directly.
Ooh, we should actually try this right now.
Let's do it. Okay, I'll go first. Give me something.
All right, describe a corkscrew.
Okay, it's a small metal thing. It's got a spiral shape, and you twist it into something to pull it out.
See, you didn't say cork, you didn't say wine, but I totally understood what you meant.
Exactly. That's circumlocution right there. Your turn now. Describe a phone charger.
Okay, it's a cable, and one end goes into the wall, and the other end connects to a small device so it doesn't run out of power.
Perfect. See? You didn't freeze once. You just talked your way right through it.
Honestly, that felt way easier than I expected.
That's the beauty of it. Do this daily with random objects around your house, and you'll notice you stop blocking up mid-sentence.
And that confidence just carries over into every conversation you have after that.
Exactly. So there you go. That's step 5, and honestly, all 5 steps together.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap before we wrap things up. Step 1, comprehensible input. Feeding your brain with content you actually understand.
Step 2, chunking. Learning full phrases instead of single words.
Step 3, shadowing. Training your mouth and ear to work together in real time.
Step 4, thinking in English. Catching your real emotions and reactions before they even happen in your native language.
And step 5, circumlocution. Learning to talk your way around a word instead of freezing up.
Now, before we let you go, we want to leave you with something to really think about.
You don't study English just to eventually speak it one day. You speak it, and that's actually how you learn it.
So if you already have the basics down, stop just collecting grammar rules in a notebook like there's some kind of trophy collection.
Exactly. Your brain doesn't need more information at this point. What it really needs is practice, real adaptation, real repetition.
So here's our challenge for you. Don't try to do all 5 steps at once. That's a recipe for burning out.
Just pick one. Maybe it's shadowing. Maybe it's catching your emotions in English throughout the day.
Whichever one you choose, stick with it for 7 days straight and just watch what happens.
You'll start noticing that mental translation's slowing down, and eventually it just fades away completely.
That's honestly the goal here, not memorizing more, just training your brain to work differently.
All right, and with that, we're going to wrap up today's episode.
Thank you all so much for tuning in and hanging out with us today. We hope this episode gave you something real to work with.
Remember, tomorrow Max and Mia will be back in their usual spot, so don't miss that one either.
And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who's also learning English. It might be exactly what they need to hear right now.
As always, keep practicing, stay consistent, and we'll catch you in the next one.
This has been the Max and Mia podcast. Take care, everyone, and see you soon.
To keep taking your English to the next level, click on the next video or explore the others we've made for you.